Okay, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm Dr. Tom Fletcher, coming at you from Murray, Utah. I think it's a kind of a rainish snow out there today. So let's talk about stress fracture. I get asked a lot about a sacral stress fracture or kind of a tailbone stress fracture, if it makes sense. So what is that thing? A lot of times it's going to be right here, like right there. Sometimes that's called the ala or the ala. So it's going to be, this is our tailbone, it's going to be right up there. To be honest, a lot of times we think it's a stress fracture. Bing, and it's not. It's not. Sometimes it might be a stress reaction, but it's not a stress fracture a lot of times. It's actually pretty uncommon. What we find out more often than not, it's a disc problem. It's a disc problem. It's a pinched nerve problem. Again, a nerve thing there. A disc problem there. These discs are kind of spongy little bubbles. And you know, if it pops out the side like this one, we could have some serious problems. A lot of times it's more of that or more of a nerve. If it pops out the sides, it might hit the nerve. Notice how close that is to our tailbone area, how close that is to that. So a lot of times it's not a stress fracture. But we know stress fracture in my industry of endurance runners, stress fracture is the F-bomb of endurance runners. So who gets a sacral or a tailbone stress fracture? Mostly road runners, endurance runners, too many miles, too fast, too much volume in general, ultra runners, I guess there's an ultra walker, maybe, volleyball, basketball, any landing with impact makes sense. We can get some phantom pains, like some phantom pinching in the butt. It could be a zap or a pinch right in that area. It could be just some, this is our butt here. It could be just some pinching in the butt, okay? It could also be some groin pain down the front. Of course, that nerve and the back of this bone, that nerve, it could go down the front. So some strange groin pain could be a stress fracture. Let's see, it could also be just tender to push that area. A lot of times it will be one-sided. It's very hard to get a stress fracture bilateral. Very hard to go bilateral, okay? A lot of times it's a stress reaction. So it's a stress reaction before a stress fracture. Stress reaction, it's 4 to 6 weeks of unloading of non-running, and it's okay. Now stress fracture, you're talking like 10 to 12 weeks of no running. So a stress reaction, much better than a stress fracture. How do we find out? The gold standard is not an x-ray. X-rays do not find stress fractures most of the time. Our gold standard, MRI. So if we can't figure it out within a couple weeks, I'm always sending for an MRI. Now, but what we're first going to do is find out, is it a disc or a nerve problem? A disc or a nerve, we can do that just by doing some easy prone press-ups. Again, keeping my belt buckle to the floor. 20 or 30 of these a day. If that's easy, I suggest we do 50, 60. If it's hard on the arms, do this. Touch the belt buckle, come back up. Touch the belt buckle, come back up. We can also do the side of the stress fracture, or what we think is the side. We can also do hold it, hold it, hold it. Don't let the stomach, keep the stomach tight. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Here I'm driving my knee into the pad. So I push down, down, down on my knee, push down, down, down on my knee. Stretch my arm forward, hold the stomach tight. Again, this would be if my back pain, if my one-sided supposed stress fracture is on my downside. So in this case, my left side. hold it to fatigue. This is never easy. See how that goes. If that gets rid of some of your back pain or stress fracture pain, then you don't have a stress fracture. Go back out and run again. Anyway, I think the big points was sacral stress fracture. Usually that's not the case. Usually it's a back problem, a nerve, a disc problem. Usually it can be dealt with just taking time off, 4 to 6 weeks, and go get an MRI. Questions, comments, good ones, bad ones, leave them below. Give us a subscribe if you dare. Thanks again. See you next time.